Welcome to the Bald Eagle 242 YouTube channel. Today I've got a Craftsman T7800 riding lawnmower I'm going to be doing a quick review on. Got about 56 something hours on it. The only thing I've seen wrong with it so far is somebody has put a larger oil filter on it than what it's supposed to have. The steering linkage has actually hit the oil filter and put a dent in it. So I'm going to replace that oil filter for sure. It is a 20 horsepower Kohler Elite Series. It's a manual engaged deck, which I actually prefer on some of these mowers because there's less moving parts, less electronic parts to go wrong with them. Some facts on this mower: it's a 2016. It's actually made by MTD for Craftsman. This mower does have a large 3-gallon gas tank, so you cut for a long period of time without running out of fuel. And this mower does have a 42-inch deck on it. I believe this mower was only offered with a 42-inch deck. The person that I bought it off of has mulching blades and a mulching plug on it. My grass is a little damp today, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'm going to get this thing out here and run it through its paces, and then I'll give you a full review on it. Just finished cutting the grass. It's extremely wet, as you can see from the grass on top of the deck. It's sticking to everything. One of the least effective setups you can use for wet grass or excessively tall grass is a mulching blade with a plug in the deck. I want to show you something here that is effective at cleaning these decks out that very few people utilize, and that is the washout port on the deck itself. What I'll do is hook up a hose to this thing, and I'll show you how effective this deck wash system is. Now, I will tell you, you're supposed to do this on a solid surface all the way down to the sidewalk and then turn this on. It will be more effective. I'll let this thing run and then I'll pull it in, I'll put it up on the lift, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like underneath this thing. Give you an idea what it looks like underneath this deck. Keep in mind, I just finished cutting some very wet grass, and all I did was hook up the deck wash system to the hose. I did not pressure wash anything underneath here. This was all done by the deck wash system and the blades spinning around. Guys, what I'm going to do now is take some time and clean this thing up. I'll fast forward through it on the video, but when I get done with that, I'll do a reveal on it, kind of show you an overview of how this thing looks. But pretty much all I use is simple green. I mix it up about 50-50, just in a spray bottle. And what I use on the deck and the wheels is called black streak remover. And this stuff, you can pick it up at Walmart, you can get it on Amazon, but this works really good if you've got grass stains on the wheels, on the deck. This stuff does the trick really well, and I'll show you that here going forward. The next thing I'll do is I take a pretty aggressive approach to polishing these. A lot of them have scratches and stuff in it. This is an ultra cut compound. This does a pretty good job of polishing it up. You can go back over it with an actual polish. It's down here in the 5 range or so. For a lawnmower,
this is all you need.
I will give you a tip though. If you're new to polishing and you haven't done this, start on something old. Start on something that you don't worry about burning through the paint on, and start with a foam pad. It's like a dual action. Keeps you from staying in one spot too long, and always turn your speed down kind of low. If you're new at this, you can always start slow. You can always speed the machine up later, but if you burn through it, you're going to be upset. Start, an old washer or dryer. If you got something you're throwing away, polish it up. Practice on it. See how it looks. All right, so I've already pressure washed this thing off and got most of the grit and grime off of it, but I'll just take the simple green 50-50 mix. Try to get as much off of here as you can, because you don't want to polish any of this into the paint. You can use any kind of cleaner. It's just simple green is something I've always got around, and this is just a terry cloth. There is a little bit of a scratch right there. It'll be interesting to see how that polishes out. So I'll come back over that and show you that after we get done here and see what this looks like. This is the right side, front of the hood. Once you get it all wiped down, go ahead and take your cut compound. Put a generous amount on here, but don't put so much that it's going to splatter around. And what I'll do is, before I turn it on, just kind of run it like that. And I'll turn this all the way down just to get started so it doesn't sling compound all over the place. But this is where I use the black streak remover. Basically all you do is just spray this on there, and you can just take this and just wipe it off. And I don't know if you've ever tried to wipe these stains off of your deck, but they're almost impossible to get off without a fairly aggressive cleaner. Takes that stuff off. Not much effort at all. I do this more for selling these things, but if you wanted to take care of your personal mower and get it all cleaned up, makes a big difference, especially to a potential buyer that's coming in. I mean, they look brand new when I get rid of them. All right, next thing I'll do is just go over and spray the tires down with tire cleaner. And then after that, I go over them with a product called Coverall. It's kind of like Armor All, just makes them shine, makes the rubber look new. All right, what I'll do now is just give you a full overview of this thing, kind of give you the pros and cons of what I think about it. 2016 Craftsman T7800 PRO Series. You know, one of the things on this mower, it does have the cast iron front suspension on it. Greasable wheel joints, greasable front spindles. Like I said earlier, it does have the 3-gallon gas tank. It has the Kohler Elite Series motor in it, which my understanding is this is kind of loosely based off the Kohler Command. It's definitely above the Kohler Courage. From Kohler's own website, they say this is twice the life expectancy of their normal Kohler Courage motor. Like I said earlier, 42-inch deck. One good thing I like about this, I'm 5'10", and there's plenty of room for me on this thing, but this seat has a lot of adjustability on it. You've probably got 3 or 4 more settings to go farther back and plenty of settings to go farther forward for somebody shorter. Of course, it's got your cup holder there. It is a hydrostatic transmission, so if you want to move it, you pull this lever out here, push it in to drive it, pull it out to move it by hand or roll it. It has plenty of deck height options. I didn't count them, but there's probably a dozen, 10 or a dozen. It does have the manual engage for the blades. You know, not the best option for tall or wet grass, but this one does have a mulching plate on it. It does have the holes there if you wanted to put a chute on it with just traditional high lift blades. It also has the pedals for forward and reverse. Top speed on this thing is not real fast. It's about 5, maybe 5.5 miles an hour. Reverse is even slower, but it does have the option to cut in reverse. You put your key switch in that position there. After you start it, pull it back to this position and then push this button. It does have your brake, so you can lock your brake down, push your brake pedal down, push that lever, and then let off the brake pedal. That way you can get off your mower while it's still running. You have to disengage the blades, but you can still have it running. You know, overall, I think this is a good mid-level residential mower. If you've got land that's up to, say, an acre and a half maybe, wouldn't be a bad mower for that. Anything much bigger than that, you probably want to get a little bit bigger mower with a bigger deck. One thing I was impressed with this 20 horsepower motor is it does have plenty of power, even in wet grass with a mulching blade set up on it. It had plenty of power to cut right through it. This also has the quick drain system. You just pull this cap off and then pull this out. Now I will tell you on this here, about half of these I get in here, that piece there is loose in that block, so check that. Obviously change the oil filter and change the oil there because the other one was dented in. I don't know why that, even on this shorter, I did put the shorter Kohler oil filter on it, but even that one will still hit that oil filter if the suspension is tweaked up to the left. But anyway, guys, overall, I'd say this is a good buy if you can find a good deal on it. You know, it has an hour meter, so you can check the hours on it. It does have a really nice, comfortable seat, high back seat. Very comfortable. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Plenty more videos to come. Till next time, thanks again.